Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and today we're going to do something a little different. Now, if you followed us last year, you know that we grew sweet potatoes last year, and we grew them from sprouts that we raised in our own kitchen. We had a limited amount of space, so we actually grew them in a couple of buckets, similar to these actually, that we stuck in the yard and put on drip irrigation. And we were rather pleased with the harvest we got. They would have gotten a bigger harvest if the deer hadn't gotten into them at the end of the summer. But so we saved our sweet potatoes, and we ate most of them. But we have just a couple of little bit ones left over. And we noticed the other day that they're starting to sprout. Now, last year, the way we wound up with sprouting sweet potatoes was we had bought extra ones around Thanksgiving, and somewhere in December we noticed that they were starting to sprout. So instead of throwing them away, we decided we would stick them in water, and all we did was take a glass jar that came from some sort of food we bought, wash it, stick a couple of toothpicks in it, and stick the sweet potato in it like that. Now, it was kind of cool watching it grow in the kitchen, but after a while it became kind of a pain, and we had to be really careful that it was not drying out too much. It would suck the water down so fast because it was a big sweet potato and it had a lot of vegetation. We were able to get some really good sprouts off of it. It worked great for us, but I did some reading, and Henry did too, and the universities are generally saying that the way sweet potato slips are grown is they're put in either dirt or sand, and then when they sprout, those become the slips that you plant for sweet potatoes. So we have a couple, like on this one, I can see that these spots here are they're bulging. So that means they're going to send out sprouts. And this one here has already got a couple of little sprouts on it. So what we decided we would do is, this is a makeshift thing that I had pulled together last year. I used it as a little wicking bed for growing mosh lettuce, I think it was. Yeah. And I think I had spinach in it at one point. But I don't actually like growing in something this shallow for regular plants, because you really have to keep up with them, and if anything goes wrong, they dry up and die. Instead, what we decided we would do this year is we're just going to take our sweet potatoes and lay them in here. I'm going to cover them with a little bit of soil, and we're going to let them sprout in here. And as they come along and make sprouts, we'll literally just pull them off and use them. So last year's sprouts were started in December, and by this time we were going crazy. The kitchen looked like a jungle. It was kind of fun in some ways because we were having, the usual winter cold thing. So it was kind of fun to have something green. And sweet potato leaves are pretty. They're a heart shape. But we just decided we did not want to do that this year. We actually have a couple of other varieties that are sprouting in the kitchen, but I don't think we're going to do anything with them. The tuber itself has gotten pretty squishy. We really like this variety. We're just going to do, like I said, I'm going to nestle these in the top here. If there's any existing bulges, I'm going to put them up. If there aren't any, I'm not going to worry about it. And we're just going to let them grow and see what happens. We don't have to have sweet potatoes, but we sure did enjoy them last year. We did try eating the leaves, which you can do, and we did not find it that wonderful. We like greens, but only to a limited. I know it's a sin to not like kale, but we don't particularly care for kale. We don't particularly care for collards. We both grew up in New England. Those are not New England plants, and while we really love spinach, either raw or fresh, and we like lots of other stuff. In fact, we will cook certain types of other brassica leaves and stuff like that. Kohlrabis that have grown really quickly and have not been munched by bugs too much are really, really good in a light stir fry. But, the sweet potato leaves didn't do anything for us. So we're not going to worry about those this year. And we're just going to put some more dirt on top of this and let it go. So I'm just going to snitch some dirt from here right now. I want to get a decent quantity of soil in here because the more soil, the easier it will be to keep the thing moist. I considered using it again as a wicking tote, but we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere for the next couple of months, other than maybe day trips probably, and we'll be able to take care of it. The nice thing about something this small is that if we get a really hard cold snap again, I can take these in the house because this is just easy to pick up and go with. Most of what we're growing out here right now in the seedling area is brassicas, which are very cold tolerant. Now we've added the potatoes to them, and now we're adding some sweet potatoes. So if I have to, I can stash these either in the seeding area at nighttime or take them into the house, just so that we don't get frost on them, because that does mess them up. This is an old roasting pan that the interior of got too scratched up and stuff, so we replaced it. There is a drainage hole here so that the water can't get too deep in the bottom, but it's just been repurposed. That's all. I just got a drill bit out and drilled a hole in it, and it's either that or send it away to the dump, which didn't seem like a great idea. We try not to do that more than we have to. So now we get to wait and see what happens. Hope you enjoy this crazy little bit of sideline. I noticed this morning actually that a couple of other people on YouTube are commenting on the fact that they're going to be starting their sweet potato slips in dirt this year. And it'll be really interesting to see how it works out for all of us, because I'm pretty confident these have already started to sprout. So I'm pretty confident we'll be able to get stuff off. It is now mid-March. Our last date of frost is not until about May 16th, May 20th, depending on the year. Sometimes as late as May 22nd. So we can keep things in here, and we can keep them fairly warm if we need to. The carrots are capable of tolerating the foolishness that we get at night here sometimes, and so are all the kohlrabis and other cabbagey sort of things in here. The spinach has done really well, so we'll see what the sweet potato does, and this will be another thing on our list. I can put this in the records as to what day it went in, and we'll see what happens. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because you got to come back and find out what happens. I mean, it's going to be exciting, and hopefully we'll get a much better harvest of sweet potatoes this year than we did last year. We were not unhappy with it last year, but they did get munched at the end of the season by the deer, so we're working on that right now. So until next time, bye.